At the DiJulius Group, I get to work with the best clients in the world. Most of my clients become friends long after the contract expires. I even purchased my new home from one of my clients. I'm very lucky that most of them are bought into the customer experience project from the start. However, I have had a few departments or employees within some organizations that have given some pushback along the way. When you are making a change or implementing a new project, it is inevitable that you will have some individuals or departments that are just simply resistant to the plan. That's because people don't like change. This makes getting true company-wide buy-in very difficult. In my experience, there are several key actions that you can take to help ensure that the implementation of your project or training program will be successful while attaining that company-wide buy-in you're looking for. Implementation and execution is commandment number 6 in the DiJulius Group's trademarked customer experience methodology. I am thrilled to share how some of my most successful clients have achieved unified implementation throughout their brand. Number 1, include key players early and often. Number 2, tell them the what's in it for them. Number 3, beta test. 4, walk the talk. And finally, number 5, huddle up. Number 1, include key players early and often. Real buy-in involves at least some element of co-creation. It invites necessary discussion, healthy debate, and allows everyone to feel even more invested in the outcome. One of the keys to a successful training program, and perhaps the most important, is having leadership buy-in from the top down. Having leadership support helps drive the significance of the program, assist with accountability, and establish appropriate expectations. Camargo is a drug development solutions partner, a business-to-business international pharmaceutical consulting firm that I have had the pleasure of working with for the past year. They're a very successful company, but look to the DiJulius Group because they never explicitly focused on or trained on customer service or client experience. Most of their client-facing teams are extremely intelligent. They're PhD scientists. But many will admit that basic customer service skills either aren't in their natural comfort zone or simply something they've never been trained on before. They tend to lean on their scientific expertise when selling and servicing clients, but they needed a broader approach focused on the client's overall experience level. Camargo strategically included individuals from all departments in their creation process, and together we created their service vision statement. Like Camargo, I recommend that you include some leadership in the beginning so that their opinion is taken into consideration and you can listen for any criticism or objections early on. This way, you can adjust your approach immediately and redirect the conversation. Don't be afraid to be assertive in addressing instances where you see objections forming. This is important for 2 reasons. First, small problems have a bad habit of swelling into larger ones if not addressed. Second, you don't want any unhappy employees poisoning the minds of other employees who are excited about your training program. Create a steering committee that wants to be involved and is passionate about the customer experience, improving internal culture, and is enthusiastic about your topic. Don't be afraid to diversify your steering committee with individuals ranging in tenure, representation from different departments, or have different levels of experience. These emerging leaders in the steering committee can become your ambassadors on the project. This will allow you to touch base with them frequently on the progress that's being made. As a result of their implementation success, the Camargo team has been proactive scheduling regular meetings. In the past, they had a tendency to maybe hide behind an email or wait for a client to email them first. Now, they really own the communication patterns. Client experience is now their number 1 priority. Number 2, show the what's in it for me, the WIFM. People like to hear and talk about themselves, and by giving them a chance to do so, you will instantly have a much stronger connection with them. Carefully describe how the success of the project will directly relate to and impact them. Paint this picture vividly. Your team is likely juggling several different initiatives and projects all at once. So it's important to be sensitive to that while describing exactly how investing their time, energy, and resources into your project will be a benefit to them. Perhaps there's even an incentive associated with your training or a recognition program to celebrate those results. Excite Credit Union, another client humble brag for me, uses an intranet system called Kazoo. It resembles a social media platform where employees can acknowledge and celebrate anytime a coworker goes above and beyond. Each employee is given 5 high fives per month that they can give out to their team members. Every time an employee receives a high five, they earn points, which they can then redeem for prizes, such as gift cards towards Starbucks, Airbnb, and other retail locations. You can also redeem these points for vacation days. Number 3, beta test in one department and share results. There is no better way to convince a critical person than proving the success with metrics and results that they can understand. If your critic can see that another department's key performance indicators increased by X% when they implemented your program, there'll be no choice left but to get on board. And we'll all be better for it. So celebrate the success with those departments and present it to others in a case study format, showing those benchmark metrics, industry averages, and then your improvement scores. Number 4, walk the talk. Spread that positivity. Once you have buy-in of a few individuals, let that energy begin to spread. Positivity is contagious. Everyone wants to be part of a team that genuinely enjoys what they're doing. Find those positive individuals and get them on board. Circulate the positive stories that relate to your initiative. People remember stories. Storytelling is one of the most powerful means that leaders have to influence, teach, and inspire. Use your stories to make the implementers of your project a hero. Once you have implemented the project, someone needs to be accountable for the long-term success. Someone has to be so invested in that project that it's all they can think about. The Mendoza Company owns a franchise of 16 McDonald's in the greater Columbus, Ohio area. They hired a hospitality supervisor whose primary responsibility is to take ownership for the implementation and success of the customer service initiative. She is accountable for getting her entire team to drink the Kool-Aid. Since our partnership, the Mendoza Company has increased their overall customer satisfaction by 6.7%, the likelihood to return increased by 8.2%, and the likelihood to recommend increased by almost 9%. Number 5, Huddle Up. I was in Florida for a keynote, and my hotel was conveniently attached to a high-end shopping mall. This is my favorite scenario. I walked into the mall to get my Starbucks. The mall was quiet and none of the stores were open, but as I passed the Apple store, I peeked inside. I saw the entire Apple team engaging in a pre-shift huddle prior to opening their doors for business. To companies that say, we just can't logistically implement huddles, or we can't afford to add another meeting to our already busy agenda, my response, you can't afford not to. Follow this huddle plan by first creating a huddle calendar. Each week should have a different customer experience focus. Identify a huddle leader to keep huddles consistent and timely. Perhaps now is a good time to utilize those brand ambassadors or steering committee team members that we talked about earlier. Finally, share your best practices. One team can benefit from learning what works well in another department or location. So share your good huddles with others. My clients always say that implementing daily huddles is the best decision that they made in regards to their customer experience journey, but arguably the most difficult. And I agree with them. It is a challenge to get everyone to commit to adding another meeting to their jam-packed schedules, but the results are worth it. In the virtual world of COVID-19, huddles may sound scary for many reasons, but virtual huddles can be done.
Our team understands that relationship is the foundation of accomplishment. And building relationship as a virtual team is not easy. But we have a ritual called the Huddle that is a weekly call that happens every week that is dedicated only to building relationship with one another. When we first started doing the Huddle, we were a much smaller team, and one of the key pieces was what we call check-ins. And team members would talk about what happened last week, what was happening this week, challenges that they were potentially having, but it mostly unfolded all around work. And we realized that it wasn't enough. We don't have a water cooler, we're not walking down the hall together, we're not in the elevator together, so we needed to be able to go deeper on this call. So we changed the question to, what's on your heart and what's on your mind? And this changed everything. The things that people started saying, even in our little virtual Zoom room, connected us in a way that we had never been connected before. And it just brought so much empathy and compassion into our virtual workspace that we've continued to do it every single week for years now. And it is a ritual that no one wants to miss.
Imagine how powerful it would be if you had 100% of your employees sharing positive customer service stories for 5 minutes each day. Imagine the impact it could have on your team and ultimately your customers. Here are your 5 tips to make it all stick and to get your entire company bought in. Number 1, include key players early and often. Number 2, show your team what's in it for them by recognizing and rewarding. 3, beta test and share those positive results. 4, walk the talk. And 5, implement daily or weekly huddles. To go into more detail on commandment number 6, implementation and execution, join me for my webinar and sign up using the link in the app. I'll see you there.